The world constantly asks me, Jensen, what is the next big thing? Is it the H100? Is it the Blackwell architecture? Or some new secret super chip? But today, I am going to tell you a truth that I have never shared in any keynote. We didn't just build chips. We built the weapon that killed the very skill that has run the world for the last 50 years. A quick montage of famous software logos, Windows, Google, Facebook fading into digital dust. Jensen, in voice, if you are learning to code today, you are boarding a ship that has already hit the iceberg. By the end of this video, I will show you something we've kept hidden in the basement of NVIDIA, a technology so powerful it makes traditional programming obsolete. But first, you must understand how we trapped ourselves in the first place. Most people will ignore this warning. A few will act on it. If you are serious about understanding the future before it arrives, subscribe now. This channel isn't for entertainment, it's for survival. For 3 decades, humanity has been part of a massive psychological experiment. We took our brightest minds, the dreamers, the creators, and we forced them to think like machines. We told them that to change the world, they had to speak binary. We locked their creativity behind the bars of C++, Java, and Python. Think about it. A human being born with a divine spark of imagination spends their entire day hunting for a missing semicolon. Is that a worthy use of a human life? Absolutely not. We built a language barrier around innovation. We created a world where only the elite, those who could speak the machine's tongue, were allowed to build the future. But coding is the most unnatural thing a human can do. Humans weren't born to code. We were born to create. We were born to tell stories, to solve problems, and to lead. The machine should have always understood us. We should never have had to learn to understand the machine. At NVIDIA, my mission was never just to make computers faster. It was to make them human. We use generative AI and large language models to build digital brains that no longer follow lines of code. Instead, they perceive, they understand intent. They feel the nuance of your request. Top universities in the US are still charging thousands of dollars to teach kids Python. I'm telling you now, that is a waste of time. The language gap is closed. Today, your prompt is your program. If you can speak your native language, if you can visualize a solution, you are now the most powerful developer on earth. Coding is no longer a specialized craft. It has become a commodity, available for free to everyone with a voice. But this leads us to a terrifying question. If coding is dead, who runs the world? Where do the jobs go? This is where humanity splits into two. One group will be crushed by the machine, and the other will learn to ride it. The question is, which one are you? People look at the leather jacket and the $3 trillion valuation, and they see a conqueror. But when I look in the mirror, I still see the waiter from Denny's. In 1993, NVIDIA didn't have a glass and steel headquarters. We had a booth at a roadside diner. My co-founders and I weren't talking about AI. We were talking about survival. We had a conviction that the world was moving from general computing to accelerated computing. We wanted to make pixels beautiful. But deep down, we were trying to simulate the universe. But here's the part the business schools don't teach you. Our first product, the NV1, was a spectacular failure. We bet on the wrong math. We were months away from total bankruptcy. I had to walk into the office of the CEO of Sega and admit our technology didn't work for them, but I asked them to pay us anyway, or we would die. That was a danger zone. I learned that you don't build a trillion-dollar company on success. You build it on the lessons you scavenge from the wreckage of your failures. We didn't just survive, we learned how to pivot with the speed of light. In 2006, we made a move that the entire world called insane. We introduced CUDA. We took our gaming GPUs and we added a layer of complexity that allowed them to do general purpose math and science. We told the world, your graphics card is now a supercomputer. Wall Street's reaction was brutal. For 10 years, our stock price was a flat line. Analysts screamed at me, "Jensen, why are you spending billions on a language that no one is using?" But I saw what they couldn't. I saw researchers in small, dark labs using our chips to simulate protein folding and weather patterns. I knew that if we provided the library and the engine, the world would eventually find a use for it. We were building a cathedral in the middle of a desert, waiting for the city to grow around it. We bore the cost of that development for a decade without a single dollar of AI profit. That wasn't a business strategy. It was a total, unwavering commitment to a future that only we could see. We were waiting for the Big Bang of intelligence. Then, the miracle happened. In 2012, a group of researchers used our GPUs to win a computer vision contest. They didn't program the computer in the old way. The computer learned from data. That was the spark that lit the fire. Suddenly, the 10 years we spent building CUDA became the most valuable bridge in human history. Every AI researcher on the planet realized they needed NVIDIA to survive. By the time we crossed the $3 trillion mark, I realized our greatest achievement wasn't the market cap. It was the realization that we had made the old way of writing software obsolete. We spent 30 years perfecting the tool, only to realize that the tool was now ready to take over to work. We climbed the mountain of coding just to see the view of a world that no longer needs a keyboard. For 60 years, the relationship between man and machine was based on instructions. You gave the computer a command, and if you missed a single comma, it failed. It was a rigid master-slave relationship. But when we crossed the threshold of the $3 trillion valuation, I didn't announce a faster computer. I announced a different world. We are entering the era of the AI factory. In the 1800s, factories used water and steam to make physical goods. In the 1900s, they used electricity to power assembly lines. Today, the raw materials data and the product is intelligence. If you are still thinking about apps and programs on a hard drive, you are living in a museum. We are now building digital employees, AI agents, that live in the cloud, constantly learning, constantly evolving, and performing tasks that used to require a team of 5 people. Let's look at the most complex code ever written, biology. For decades, we tried to solve cancer and Alzheimer's using traditional coding, but you cannot write an if-then statement for a protein fold. There are more combinations in a single protein than there are atoms in the visible universe. It was too messy for the old way of computing. This is where NVIDIA's massive gamble pays off. Our AI doesn't need to understand the rules of biology. It sees the patterns. We have trained our GPUs on the entire library of human life. Now, a scientist in a lab in Boston doesn't need to be a coder. They simply speak to the AI. Design a molecule that targets this specific mutation. And the AI writes the chemical code. We have turned biology into a computer science discipline. But we have removed the need for the computer scientist. We are finally allowing experts to be experts again, instead of forcing them to be amateur coders. This is the democratization of tech. In the USA, we have millions of brilliant people, artists, doctors, farmers, and small business owners who had great ideas but couldn't code. They were locked out of the digital revolution. I am here to tell you the door is now wide open. The keyboard is no longer the gatekeeper. Your native language, be it English, Spanish, or Chinese, is the most powerful programming language ever invented. We have reached a point where natural language is the interface for everything. If you can describe it, the AI factory can build it. But this comes with a warning. If the machine can code, then your value as a human is no longer in your skill to type. Your value is in your judgment. Your value is in your vision. The world doesn't need more typewriters. It needs more writers. The era of the technician is ending. The era of the architect is beginning. Parents in America often ask me, "Jensen, what should my child study? Should they major in computer science?" My answer usually shocks them. I tell them, no. The era of everyone needing to be a coder is over. In fact, we've worked so hard to make AI so good that no one has to program anymore. So, what is left? The answer is human ingenuity. I want your children to study biology. I want them to study chemistry, history, and art. I want them to understand world works, not how a computer works. Because in the near future, the AI will be the hand, but the human must be the brain. We are moving from an era where we learn to use tools to an era where we learn to lead agents. Your value in 2026 and beyond isn't what you can do, it's what you can imagine and direct. I promise to show you what we've been hiding in the basement. It's not just a faster chip, it's the final piece of the puzzle, physical AI. For years, AI was trapped inside a screen. It was just pixels and text. But what we are building now is the Omniverse, a digital twin of the entire physical world. This is the secret. We aren't just replacing programmers, we are building a world that programs itself. If this made you think like it, if it scared you, share it. And if you want to stay ahead of what's coming next, subscribe.